Developing tonight, the State House and Senate have overwhelmingly approved an initiative to change police pursuit laws.
It comes after police said they were limited in chasing suspects in many cases, including property crime and car theft. The vote had broad bipartisan support. KOMO senior reporter Chris Daniels was on the floor of the House and Senate today in Olympia and joins us live now with a reaction from lawmakers and what's next. Chris?
Yeah, Mary and Eric, this process is a little bit different than what people are used to. There was the signatures that were gathered for this initiative, which really forced the legislature's hand. They either had to take up the initiative or send it to voters in the fall. The vote today was not close in either chamber, and it means that those police chase restrictions will end 90 days after this legislative session. Here's a reaction now from both chambers.
This is a serious policy. This is something that is long overdue, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of this initiative because I'm fearful of what it's done to so many communities, including my own.
So you don't think that police should be allowed to pursue on property crime?
I think generally there are other ways to solve property crimes. That is correct.
But it's also very, very clear that we need to give the officers the tools they need to do their job to the best of their ability.
Why is it clear in your mind? I just talked to State Senator Peterson, who said he believes there is different ways to handle property crime.
I absolutely agree with that, too. There are so many things that we're doing, but we're so divided right now.
I'm very encouraged by the good bipartisan support that the initiative got on the floor here, both in the Senate and the House. And I'm just very happy that this is going to take effect, and I think it's going to make communities and neighborhoods safer, and that's a good thing.
Initiative 2113 is declared passed.
Walsh, who you just saw there, was the prime sponsor of this initiative. He is also the GOP chair, and again, this vote was not close in either chamber, which are held by Democratic majorities. The vote in the House was 77-20. And in the Senate, the vote 38-11 in favor of the initiative. That's the story live at the Capitol in Olympia. I'm Chris Daniels, KOMO News.
Chris, thank you. Two other initiatives are headed to the Secretary of State for a final signature. This afternoon, the House approved Initiative 2081, which deals with parental notifications in public schools. It would let parents review all instructional materials and student records and require schools notify parents about any medical services provided to their children. The House also approved Initiative 2111, which prohibits cities, counties, or the state from imposing or collecting any form of income tax. The grip that fentanyl has on many in the community has King County broadening its approach to provide treatment and other services before more lives are lost. KOMO's Joel Marino looked into the new investments being made and how well current strategies are working.
As the fentanyl crisis grows, King County is realigning its priorities to try and save lives as the number of fatal overdoses continues to climb.
It is a problem.
And I know it's very prevalent, citywide, nationwide.
In response, the county is looking to expand treatment options, adding to and building on what is already working.
While other communities may look at this and see an unsolvable crisis, King County is taking action.
A 16-bed residential treatment center is one part of that solution, slated to open later this year. That can help bolster the work of 22 walk-in clinics that connect addicts to short-term help. Mobile clinics will also go to where drug users are to deliver help, and more vending machines dispensing naloxone will put life-saving medications in more people's hands.
We need to reduce any barrier possible when someone is ready to seek care to get them in, and this action today opens those doors.
One challenge with all this expansion will be staffing shortages to run these new programs and facilities.
This is a major bottleneck within the process. Licensed, trained professionals that work in the substance use area.
Another hurdle could be chronic users who refuse treatment. County leaders say it's a misnomer that people don't want to get better, and the solution is to have more treatment options available.
People are willing to accept the help. It's just about maybe providing different types of help. So it's up to us to innovate.
Joel Marino, KOMO News.
The funding comes from existing sources such as a sales tax dedicated to behavioral health, as well as a new property levy that voters approved last year.
And that brings us to tonight's KOMO Pulse Poll. Preston Phillips is at the live desk looking at some of the numbers for us. Preston?
We are now averaging about 250 votes per hour, so that's pretty good. We went from 350 to 600 now in the last hour.
I like that. To vote right now, it's really easy to do it. Just take your smartphone, point it right at the screen. That'll take you right to KOMOnews.com, and that is where you can cast your vote. So here's the question we're asking this evening. Will King County's new strategy to address the surge in fentanyl overdoses work? Well, you can see an overwhelming majority of folks right now, as of right now, about 600 votes, say no. 11% say only time will tell, and then only 4% of those who have voted right now say yes, this will work. We're always committed to being your voice on the issues that matter most. Our local KOMO Pulse poll, it's a great way for you to speak out and have your voice heard.
This comes as the county sees an increase in deadly fentanyl overdoses. Seattle-King County Public Health recorded more than 1,000 fentanyl overdoses just last year in 2023. And so far this year, that number has been 115. The effort to tackle the fentanyl crisis isn't just a concern for local and state leaders. A group of high school students from Sammamish created this greater education campaign about fentanyl's deadly reach across our state. Those students are also pushing to get FDA-approved naloxone in school bathrooms. The drug is used to reverse opioid overdoses.
More training and like education in general about like fentanyl and how you wouldn't even notice that there are traces of it in your drugs until it's too late. We also do wish there was like more like immediate action taken.
At the state level, there are multiple fentanyl-related bills making their way through the legislature. House Bill 1956 requests substance prevention education in schools with backing from parents who lost children to fentanyl-laced drugs. King County currently provides regular overdose prevention and Narcan trainings. Now, that announcement on fentanyl overdose prevention is at 10 a.m. today. And, you know, it's good to hear from those high school seniors, you know, saying that something needs to be done. We're seeing way too many of our classmates overdose. Yeah. You mentioned some of those overdose prevention resources that are now in schools, like Narcan and naloxone. And I mean, it's good that they have that prevention in schools and at businesses, and we see them in public at different kiosks and whatnot. But the fact that it's even needed, I mean, it says something. I remember being in school and we were getting not overdose prevention, but substance use prevention in general. All the time. Those trainings were constant. And, you know, if that House bill goes through, that substance prevention education in schools, maybe we could see some real change.
I was thinking about how a sad state of affairs that is, that we have to even think about putting that type of drug into school bathrooms. I mean, it wasn't even a thing that you thought about when you were in school, something that I thought about in school, you know, 20 plus years ago. But certainly, you know, pretty amazing that those students have taken it upon themselves to try to expand that even more, because, you know, the whole goal here is to not lose any more lives. We've already lost a lot already, 1,000 just in King County alone last year. Here we are just a couple days into March, and we're already seeing 115 in the county so far. So it's devastating and good for students for taking on that effort.
For sure.